Hey, thanks again for pushing play on the Cognitive Fitness Coach podcast. So, this episode is for every midlife professional who's ever woken up and grabbed their phone before they even say good morning to themselves or anyone else. It's for those who have gone to bed with their thumbs still scrolling, who's felt overstimulated, overconnected, and yet somehow emotionally starved. And I've been there. In fact, I was there deep in it. And today I want to talk briefly about blending the science of what we know with the rawness of what I've lived and invite you into the work I now do with others, which is building cognitive fitness in an age of digital overload. Let's get into it. So let's go back. Go back, 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 way back. I mean, back to when telephones were tied to the wall and we were free. And now telephones are on us and perhaps we are imprisoned. It didn't start out like that. I wasn't always addicted to my smartphone and digital media. Um, but I got my first smartphone in 2009. And I remember like when the when it first came out and people were really jazzed about it, and I was like, nah, whatever. Like I don't really need that in my life. But I remember I was on a motorcycle trip with my wife, and I was using a Garmin GPS to navigate, and I didn't have coverage or something wherever we were, so I wasn't able to look things up. And I remember she had a iPhone, and she was like, "Well, I can pull up the map and show you, where the gas station is." And that's when I was like, "Whoa, wait a second! Like those things have maps on them?" So that was when I got sold. Like, I think I need a smartphone. So I got an iPhone and it was exciting, It was like now I had a portal to everything, in my hands. But it was a year after year after year, what started as like being helpful is slowly turned into something that was harmful and a dependency and became like an escape hatch for me. And before I knew it, the screen, that was the first thing and the last thing that I saw every day. And it wasn't like I was like on there all the time, like doing anything useful. It wasn't like I was checking emails all the time or something like that. I was just scrolling. I was scrolling mindlessly, scrolling to numb myself. Like I would reach for my phone to avoid discomfort, to avoid any like real world anxiety or boredom or conversations, or what have you. I was just, my phone became a shield and it became a sedative, you know? And I remember like, it was a while ago, but I was sitting with my wife and my mom. My mom is aging. She's in her 90s now, but this was a while back. She still had more of her cognitive abilities, but sitting with my mom, my wife at the table, and I was looking at something on my phone on a website, and then my mom was like, "What's so important on that thing, that you have to be on it now?" And I was a little angry, honestly. I was like, "Whatever." And then I put it, I put it away, but then I found myself like taking it out and having it under the table and still scrolling. Well, here I haven't sat with my mom for like a year. I hadn't seen her. And I was still, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop looking at this stuff on the internet over spending time with my own mother. And that became a little bit of a wake-up call. You know, it hit me, you know, that maybe this was an issue. I mean, I was present, but I wasn't there, And who knows, I don't see my mom very often, and that could have been the last time I ever saw her. And I'm scrolling and looking at my phone. So more recently, I've started to put real boundaries in place. Within the last year, I've been doing no phone zones, no phones like in the bedroom, no phone in the bathroom, and no phone in the dining room. Those are my no phone zones right now. So there's no phones allowed in those zones. So where I sleep, where I eat, and where I do my business, there's no phones. I've also put in digital buffers. From the time I wake up, I'm not on any screens for at least 60 minutes. And then I'm also not on my screen at all at least 60 minutes before bed. So I started though like much smaller than that. It started with like 15 and then I built up to 30 and now I'm at 60. And it's good. I really enjoy it. And now, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do when I go to bed? Because I used to scroll, I don't know if you're like me, but I used to scroll in bed a lot. And now I read books. Go figure. Like, and it's really interesting and I like it. And I'm learning a lot. So it's a good thing. And then in the morning, like, well, what do I do without a phone in the morning? Well, I also read books. And I saw that I'm not alone with that. I spent some time with my older sister not too long ago, and she's also reading in the morning, and I love that. So I get up in the morning, I make coffee, I go downstairs and I read a book at the kitchen table, and then I go outside and I water my plants. That's my morning routine. And then once all that is done, I come upstairs and after I've had enough coffee and the plants are watered, I meditate, do breath work, and then I start my day. So that's me. Um, but I'm not alone here, you know? My story, it's not unique. Science and research, it now tells us that adults like me, between ages 40 and 55, middle-aged professionals like many of you out there, are deeply impacted by constant digital immersion. So studies show that screen time, excuse me, especially in the form of social media and smartphones, has increased our stress levels by creating this never-ending feedback loop of stimulation and urgency and keeping us dysregulated. It's disrupted our sleep with blue light and bedtime scrolling, decreasing melatonin production and keeping our minds hyper alert. It's driven us towards depression and anxiety through the negative social comparison, the FOMO, fear of missing out, and these compulsive dopamine cycles. And then physically, it's leading to posture issues in the neck and the back, shoulder pain, also leading us to a sedentary lifestyle and increasing our risk of things like obesity. And there's hope, though. I mean, in one study, I read that adults who reduce their screen time use to under 2 hours a day, and if that sounds crazy right now to you, because you're up to 12, or maybe you don't even know how much screen time you're having, but you know it's excessive, 2 hours a day might seem insane, but it's doable. You just got to crawl, walk, run. So. But if you can get under 2 hours a day, saw measurable improvements in their sleep, in their mood, in their mental clarity, in their physical health. So that stuff is real. Like we can reverse this. So there's hope. And in that hope, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the work I do. So, like a cognitive fitness coach, what is that? Well, in my practice, cognitive fitness, it's all about training the mind and the body to stay calm and to stay clear, even when life gets chaotic. It's the ability to notice stress, to regulate our nervous system, to engage our higher brain so we can respond to things wisely instead of reacting. All right, it's emotional presence under pressure, and it's feeling all of our feelings deeply without having to flee or push them away. And what does screen overuse do for that? Well, it undermines all of that. It taxes the brain, it tires our circuitry, it floods us with artificial dopamine rewards, and it makes this reality, this beautiful, boring, sacred world of ours, this reality, feel really dull in comparison to this digital world. And it's not. So, what do we do? Like, what do we do to get out of this? Get out of this hole? Well, some of the things I would tell clients to do if they're struggling with their digital overload is, first of all, I would say start with compassion because you're up against a monster of an industry that's designed to keep you hooked, that's designed to steal every minute of your life, and they're really good at it. They've got some of the brightest minds in the world working on it. So forgive yourself. This isn't a moral failure. And the second thing I would tell you to do is look at creating some no phone zones. Make some sacred space in your home. The bedroom, the bathroom, the dining room, those are normally good places to start. Phones don't belong there. Okay? Buffer your sleep, perhaps, like I was doing. Maybe start with 15 minutes, move up to 30 after waking, and 30, 15 to 30 before bed, and then work up to 60, work up to 90, so on and so forth. Let your brain breathe. Another thing about those buffering your sleep, I have to say, is that your brain waves change when you wake up. They're in a different state, and they're also in that different state right before you fall asleep. And it's called a theta state. And during this theta state brain waves, you're very open to suggestion. So it's probably about the worst time to be scrolling a social media platform and some junk media when you're so open to suggestion. So it's another thing for you to consider. Apps on your phone. All right. If you're having a hard time like resisting scrolling Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, things of that nature, perhaps take those apps off your phone. Create some friction. Maybe put that stuff on your desktop if you have it, or a laptop where it's a little more work to get to it rather than grabbing your phone and going right towards it. Now, I'm not advocating for anyone to disrupt their work and to hurt themselves financially or professionally or what have you, or really too hard personally as well. So like if you're gonna take everything off your phone, just consider like, hey, maybe I need this, and this for work or something of that nature. Got it. But let's try to like take everything off our phone that we don't need for 30 days. And then ask ourselves, after that 30 days, like, am I going to bring that back into my life? Like, what am I getting out of it? And is there a better way to get that? Like for me, for instance, social media. What am I doing on there? Well, I'm trying to combat my loneliness. So, is there a better way to combat loneliness than looking at Facebook? Absolutely. Like it's real-time interactions with folks. It's it's going out for coffee, it's going out for lunch, it's going out to dinner, it's exercising together. It's these things that like we used to do a lot of, and now it's like we're supplementing our social life with social media. And now I've got 1,500 strangers from all around the world that I don't even know. And those likes, comments, and shares, they're not doing it for me, man. Like I need to be in your presence. I need your regulated nervous system to be my regulated nervous system. And I need to connect with you on a very deep level, not this surface level social media bullshit. Right? So time blocking. If you do need to check things on your phone that you absolutely have to like mess with your phone, then maybe time block it. Maybe check your phone, at certain time during the morning from maybe 9 a.m. to 9:30, in the afternoon from 1400 to 14:30, and in the evening from 18 to 18:30. Whatever it might be, whatever works for you, but maybe do some time blocking. And then with all that, like if you're not on your phone a lot, it's going to open up a lot of time for you. So what are you going to do with that time? Well, I'm going to encourage you to get outside, reconnect with the world. Embrace some of that slow dopamine drip. Go out and earn your dopamine, right? Earn your oxytocin, earn your serotonin, your endorphins. Maybe read a book. Maybe lay on the grass and look at the clouds. Maybe walk in the woods with no distractions, no headphones, no earbuds. Listen to the birds, listen to the bees and the trees. Listen to what they have to say for a while. Embrace boredom. Boredom isn't a problem. It's a doorway. It's a doorway back to presence. And we need boredom. Without boredom, I wouldn't have created much of what I've created. I need to be bored to be creative, right? We're not bored enough. We're not bored enough to problem solve anymore, right? And realize that the real world, it's not dull. Like when you really look at it with a beginner's mind, it's miraculous. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The real world is amazing. So if any of this episode hits home for you, know this, you're not broken, you're not lazy, you're not alone, and you just been wired into the system as we all have that's optimized for addiction to steal our attention, to steal every minute of my life. But you can rewire and you can reclaim your attention and you can reclaim your energy. You can reclaim your aliveness. You can reclaim your vitality. You can reclaim your life. So if you're ready to take the next step, I'd love to support you. You can find out more about cognitive fitness coaching and the work I do at cognitivefitnesscoach.com. And there's lots of links on there to schedule a free strategy call, 30 minutes, no strings attached, minimum cringe. And so whether you need the tools or you need accountability or just need someone to talk to and walk with you through this unplugging, I'm here. I'm here for you. So let's plug back into the world. Not the one in the pocket, but the one that is right in front of us. Thank you for listening today. Peace. Be well.